Hello, Facebook viewers. Technology and digital dentistry are not just buzzwords we use today. They are an opportunity for each of us. They're a chance for every practicing dentist to increase their overall efficiencies and productivity in a practice. My name is Jedd Carter. I'm the National Technology Director with Schein Dental, and I'm joined today by Dr. Bobby Chagger from Toronto, Canada. Dr. Chagger, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
As we sat in the opening session of Dentsply Sirona World 2017 today, we heard Michael Oggins say that every great company leads with purpose rather than with procedure. And I can't tell you how excited we are as a longtime Henry Schein customer and somebody that's a longtime Dentsply Sirona product user to be able to sit down across the table and share an opportunity to not only talk about the Henry Schein side of the business, but also the Dentsply Sirona part of the business. And I thank you for being a longtime customer. The thing that I think is great about this opportunity is how well the company's purpose and plans line up. At Henry Schein, we have a pillars of success. Our Technology Connect Dental platform really talks about three pillars. Increasing the patient experience. It talks about the opportunity for you as a dentist to provide more accurate and more reliable dentistry to your patients, and really every technology should increase the productivity in the practice. And when you look at Dentsply Sirona's mission statement, all their technologies are designed to do better, safer, and faster dentistry. So, as we sit down today, I just want to ask you a couple questions about what you've seen in your practice and really how it lines up with those pillars. So I want you to start by just telling us a little bit about your practice and your practices, as the case may be.
Well, my practices, I like to feel that they're digital. We have a CEREC, we have a cone beam, and we have an electronic medical record system, intraoral cameras.
Okay.
Everything is built around utilizing technology to help us practice better dentistry.
Okay, and tell us which systems or technologies you're using in your practices right now.
So I have a CEREC, my cone beam is a XG3D, made by Sirona as well.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is it allows for integration. They can talk to each other, so we can diagnose better and do surgical guides.
Awesome. So the first of those pillars that we talk about is increasing the patient experience or enhancing the patient experience. Can you tell me a little bit about when you adopted those technologies, meaning cone beam and the CEREC system into your practice, how did it affect your patients? How did it enhance their experience?
Well, I'll tell you something very interesting. I think, as you know, the key hallmark in any dental practice is our patients. We need to treat our patients like gold, and building a relationship is the most important thing we need to do. It almost sounds counterintuitive, but incorporating technology into our practice allows us to do this even more effectively. And the reason is this, I'll give you an example. If I'm creating a crown for a patient and the restoration is milling, there is now a lag time while the restoration is being fabricated. But in that time now, I'm able to actually build my relationship to a higher level with my patients. It builds that rapport. And when you build a rapport, the patient sees you as more than just a dentist, but almost as a friend. And that allows the practice to grow because possibly we'll get better referrals, and I'm also focused on advertising, but also in that time, it allows me to increase the dental IQ of my patients. Now when we're focusing on procedures and treatment modalities, we can focus on what we think lasts longer and is better for the patient.
So the technologies themselves are freeing up some time for you to spend more time with the patients.
That's right.
Just increase the relationships with them. That's very good.
I'm really looking at technology as a tool, and the focus is the patients.
Awesome. So let's talk for a minute about the dentistry that you can provide. So again, we're talking about merging data sets and merging files from cone beam over to CAD/CAM, and specifically with the CEREC system. So walk me through what that looks like for you and how that has increased your ability to provide a more accurate, reliable dentistry.
So increasing clinical outcomes. The key here at all times, I see in dentistry, in healthcare, in medicine, is that patients are very aware of what's possible because information is so readily available on the internet. So when they come to my office, I can look at them and we can talk and discuss, and I can tell them we can deliver what they're looking for. So let's talk about a dental implant for a moment here. If a patient is missing a tooth, say on the lateral, I will talk to the patient and I'll say to them, first thing we're going to do is diagnose effectively. to see if you're a candidate. And we diagnose by utilizing a cone beam. Once we've diagnosed and seen that the patient is a great candidate, I will then go to my CEREC system, and I like to work backwards. We will image the patient's arch and design the restoration on the CEREC system. The patient's able to see what we're doing, but now what we're going to do is we're going to take the cone beam volume, we're going to take a CEREC scan with that new tooth we're going to have and merge them. By merging them, we have two options now. I can do this either myself or I can show my patient how technology is working for them.
Right.
And I can now decide where to place the implant so it's ideally placed so the force vectors are ideally aligned. And once we've decided where the implant's going to be placed, I will create a surgical guide. The patient sees now what's happening and says, okay, I want to proceed in this office, always. And the treatment will be now rendered in the office with a surgical guide, which allows for less surgical time, more predictability, and a better clinical outcome because we know we know what's coming. And what that creates is a patient who's pleased and happy with the end aesthetic result, and that allows my practice to grow. And that involvement with technology, building the relationship, is the hallmark to success of my practice.
Have you seen a lot of referrals coming from these patients? I mean, you mentioned a couple of things. It decreases the amount of time, the procedure that they're taking, which is obviously a big thing for patients today. But you're also increasing the reliability and predictability of that outcome. So tell me about that. Are your patients talking to other patients and referring people into your practice because of that?
I find my greatest source of patients now is direct referrals. And the best thing is that when a direct referral comes in, the patient comes in already, the new patient, ready to accept almost anything that I'm going to say, because at the kitchen table or the coffee table, when my other patient was talking to his friend, he said, Dr. Chagger's amazing. This is what they're going to do. His team is going to do this. He's got this, and this. And they walk in with bated breath, show me. Whatever I say, they're happy with. So it works really well with these direct referrals.
That's very good. You mentioned your team. How engaged are they with the technologies in your practice?
This is so important. If any dentist incorporates any technology into their practice, they need to train their team and have them understand why we have what we do and how we utilize it. Because we as dentists can become distracted. You've got possibly multiple patients, an emergency, so a lot of things going on. But if our team are trained, they're there to help you and assist you and to make sure that that piece of equipment you purchased will be utilized effectively and efficiently.
Yeah, you've talked on efficiencies a couple of times, which is good because that's the third pillar of our technology platform. Our Connect Dental message is that every technology we sell, and just like Dental Supply Sirona says, every technology we sell needs to make the doctor or the staff or the office in general more efficient and more productive. And Dental Supply Sirona needs to make you faster, right? It's all about time and giving time back to you and giving time back to your staff, but also more importantly back to your patients. So let's talk about efficiencies in your practice a little bit. You mentioned placing implants. Walk me through how utilizing technology has affected other areas of your practice as well. Cone beam or CAD/CAM specifically, how has the workflow increased on even just those sorts of restorative procedures?
So, the key word, you're right, is efficiencies. I look at efficiencies and I went one step further. I say it's value generation.
Okay.
Because value generation is different for me as a practitioner, my team, and for my patients. So what's happened here is that when the patients come in for diagnosis utilizing the technology, say Schick 33 sensors, say a cone beam, we're able to diagnose effectively. And when we diagnose effectively, we can plan treatment better. And by planning the treatment that we want to use, and we can discuss with the patients the treatment modalities and the options, say whether we're going to use composite resin or we're going to use a hybrid porcelain, then the patient decides prior to us even starting the treatment, then the technology kicks in. The patient will spend less time in the chair. So the value generation of the patient is time, savings of time. What is time worth? I know my patients that when they come to visit me in my office in Toronto, and traffic can be horrendous, they might be spending about 45 minutes to come to see me. If I can deliver a final result in one visit, they're saving themselves a second visit. And for a lot of my patients, they're working for a company, If they have to come to see me during the day, they have to take they might have to take a second afternoon off.
Yeah.
So that value generation for the patient is a tremendous. Then in the value generation to me as a clinician, better clinical outcome, but now I'm also delivering a result in less time and possibly a different treatment modality, which also becomes more, not just more efficient, but more productive and more profitable. Value generations are being created all around.
Okay, so not just for the patient, but for you as well, which
That's
is
right.
important. So as we sit down here at this meeting, and this is Henry Schein's first opportunity to attend Dentsply Sirona World as a partner, and it's an exciting time for us. We're sitting down, and selling technology is not new, but tell me something that you would talk to doctors about today that are looking at these technologies. What's something that you would tell them as a reason to make the investment and to start practicing dentistry the way that you do?
Well, two things I would say to all doctors. First and foremost, I will say to them, I want you to embrace it, embrace change. Let's talk about, say, 20 years ago, maybe the early start of cell phones being utilized. People were using faxes to communicate. Now, I don't get faxes. I don't have a fax machine. I receive emails. I do digital signatures. Sometimes I say to myself, how did my father ever work 30 years ago? So embrace change. It's going to happen, and we have to be ready for it. That's the first thing. Second thing is, if you embrace change and you embrace technology, the key to success in our practice is by involving our team. Because if we teach the team how to utilize it, why we're using it, what it is, and how, they will be our standard bearers. They will talk to the patients, and they will help us to deliver that in clinical outcome with the value generation or the efficiencies. And I think if those two things are followed, there's success for everyone.
Very good. Well, Dr. Chagger, thank you very much for joining me today, sitting down and having a discussion. Thank you all of you for joining us as well. Please visit us at henryschein.com/ScheinChats for all past Schein Chats as well. Thank you.
Thank you.